Yeah, okay, we're good.
I think this review will be like really fast, by the way, like less than 30 minutes, because for Cascade, there's not a lot you have to talk about, so it'll be pretty quick. Um, all right, so standard roll is just gonna be through main. Your demo is just gonna do once you jump here out of spawn, and then once you jump to this door like this. Oh, whoops! And then just one jump through main like this onto the kit. Do that, and then you're here. Um, there's a few mids that my team likes to do, and I think that's like what every teams have been doing on this map, which is like you send your heavy and soldier like up here into cave, and then you have them drop off here into them as their combos like playing near the rock there, and then your team kind of either walks one side or they kind of play towards central just to support their players coming out of cave, right? So for me, I like to just play like central, and then I just have my soldier heavy drop off cave, and then we just like spam them as they are behind rock. Depending on where the sniper rolls out, as the side of the map you want to have your combo walk over. So it's kind of like product where if the sniper rolls out like cliff or something, you can try to hug towards the right. You do want to be careful though if you're hugging towards the right, you don't get like fought by their cave players as well. Because like I said, a lot of teams are gonna have like people just sitting in cave waiting. So um, it's good that your spy kind of calls who's playing on cliff and then where the sniper's playing. So if the sniper is just playing like middle of bats here like this on a mid fight, I mean there's not a lot you can do to avoid that, right? Sniper's rolling out here like the best silent ever on this mid, so or on this map. So if they're here, you kind of just have to hope your soldier can bomb them later, or like your spy can just decloak on them during the fight and just stab them. Um, and just like product, they're gonna have like a player just sitting next to their sniper here, so it's either gonna be their engineer just kind of surveying all of their house and like their cliff and um their cliff and shit like that, or they're gonna have like maybe even a pyro or something like that. But most of the time, it's just gonna be like an engineer sitting there. Eventually the sniper will just fall off though, so it's fun. Yeah, so that's the one mid that you can catch a lot of teams off guard doing that. So as soon as they drop off, you want to make sure you guys kind of collapse behind their rock. Um, you can also have your team kind of walk this way with your soldier heavy, but I don't like doing that because like they'll eat a lot of damage. And if the other teams like get to call out your teams in cave, and then they just kite back like this, you can like bait your team into like dropping down and then just like getting fucked by your demo spam. And they're kind of stuck in a corner to like your sniper and shit. So you don't want to do that. If they're you don't want to do it like multiple mids in a row if they're kind of countering it like that. The other mid is you kind of have players just walk below. Like your heavy can like walk right side of point like this as your demo plays towards the central, and your heavy can kind of cut off their exit like that and like play a pinch mid. For me as a demo, I don't ever like just straying away from central, so you're gonna have like a lot of your team playing towards like the left or right, but me try to play towards the middle. If I ever do like sway away from the middle, it's just to kite somewhere. So maybe like if I instead of left, I want to kite towards the left. Or instead of the middle, I want to kite towards the left. That's like fine too. But other than that, that's kind of what I do. Um, there is a lower mid that you can do, but I think it's bad, so I'm not gonna tell you guys to do it. Okay, lower mid's kind of poop. Like if you have like your heavier like something or your soldier go lower, it just doesn't make sense to do it because all they gotta do is just watch it, and then you're just down a player on mid. So the only real mid you can do is just like the tunnel mid, and then like walking below their tunnel. And then if you want to do like the below their tunnel mid, you can have your soldier either jump into their tunnel during the mid fight or just high bomb behind and land on their sniper. So like you just gotta make sure like nothing is here while you walk right side mid. So your whole combo can like walk right side mid, or just your heavy if you want, and then your soldier can just go like fucking deep, like really really deep, like land on their house type shit. Engineers will might set up a mini up here as well, by the way, on mid fights and just wrangle it. Um, my team doesn't do that. We like jump a mini like just in main like right here, just to the night point, and you can also wrangle it to like fight left or right, so it's decent too. Yeah, but putting like, yeah, but so your soldier's gonna go deep. Like make sure there's not like a mini just shooting him the whole time, like while he's bombing. But yeah, um, straight up, that's like basically the mid fight. The thing about this mid though is like it's a little bit different than product. It's really easy to dry fight the team who's holding the point, like while they're capping, because there's not like a lot insane amount of sniper silence that the team re-pushing point has to like look for. So like, for the team that's like trying to cap, it's a really good idea just to keep fighting, like just keep fighting and prolong and cap as long as possible. And you guys understand like the concept of like trickling time on point by just like, constantly fighting. Just getting a lot of time off the timer. That's very much applicable to this map. I think it's more applicable than product in Asheville just because of how hard it is to cap. Because the midpoint is so fucking small and there's not a lot of like areas where the players on point can hide in. Like they can't hide behind the rocks because they're not actually going to be capping, right? So if your team's like has enough players alive and they're trying to cap, and it's not like gonna risk getting your med killed, you guys should try and just keep trickling time off like that. Especially if like your sniper's alive or like your spy or like you have a demo alive, you should definitely just keep fighting point. Um, that so I said that after mid fight, it kind of applies to like when you're refighting and they have point, and or that's sorry, you have point and they're refighting point. It's like the same thing. It applies the same way. Um, that's like the biggest thing I saw like teams having issues with it, just not being able to cap the point itself. So learning to like try to trickle time like that is like important. Um, Before I talk about how to like push, I kind of want to talk about holds. So you guys can ask me questions whenever, and I'll try to answer them. For the most part, holding point in this mid is pretty much like what you expect. You kind of just like forward hold and meet them whatever door they come in. I talked about this with my team extensively on how to do it, so it should give you insight on how my team does it, like in the past and also just like recently. So when you're holding point, it is good to play around your sniper on this hold, and also your spy, obviously, because well, the majority of the time you're playing around your spy calls. All right, so wherever your spy's calling their combo is what the side of the point you want to meet them on. So most teams default to pushing cliff like this way. By the way, I don't think defaulting cliff every single time is ever good. So you want to kind of change it up, and there's a few ways to do that, but I'll talk about that later. So if they roll a cliff a ton, obviously your positioning is just going to be to meet them, right? And if the sniper is playing adjacent to cliff like that, then obviously you're not going to cut off that sight line and just try to spam them as they come in walking like this. I like to have my players pretty close up on this side, so my heavy might just be pushed up to this rock. He can either jump on this rock and eventually peek in like this. I don't recommend that unless like you're winning the fight super hard. By the way, your spy can get behind from that angle too. This little like jump up like this is like insanely good for like your spy as well. You can like immediately get behind like that. Anyways, okay. Besides that, yeah, your heavy's gonna play pretty close with your demo. Your demo's just trying to like lock out the one door, whatever side they come in. A good trap if they come right, I always place this one is just here. You just place it above this doorway, and as soon as they walk through the choke like right side, you just see them cut this line here, and then they just die to the sticks like that. Right. Um, the best sniper positioning is just gonna be like somewhere on this point. So like on the rock here, you can see concrete and right. So your sniper can set up here or like just down here if they come in left side. Like there's not a lot they can do to counter that other than like having someone commit for this not your sniper or like bombing him straight up. Um so yeah. Basically you're gonna have your sniper just like close on point. Your med needs to make sure they're hiding behind something just in case like the sniper does want to like wide swing. Bats should never be an issue if you're holding point, by the way. You guys should have constant calls to the sniper if he ever peeks bats. If you guys are holding this close up and the sniper does something like this, then you guys have no presence. Like you're not making yourself like very present on the map in the forward hold. You can have a soldier there, you can have a spy constantly sit there, right? And that's enough people. Your soldier can play here too, right? It really depends on like what state of the push they're in. So if their team's like literally back in house like this, and they're not pushing it, your soldier should be like either on their this or on their cliff, right? Your soldier should be fucking aggressive. And I'll continue talking about soldier like right now. So, like I said about the state of like what their push is like, depending how far up they are, your soldier can be in their house or on their cliff. But once they start pushing up here and they actually start making the attempt to make space here, your soldier can either back up this way and play this angle like this, just to make it slower for their tunnel players to re-push your combo out of the forward hold, right? Or either your soldier can totally like look for the sniper by bombing behind or something like that. That's something I've seen soldiers do. Like Dur would do something like that where he would like bomb behind and look for the sniper with his spy or some shit. Or if he's playing on house, he can just stand house and like if he's not spotty, he can just kind of sit here and like to kill the medic or something like that. And those are kind of like small options for your soldier, right? I think defaulting right is not the best door to go through. It really comes down to situation though, obviously, like based on where their sniper is and how close your Uber is. The main thing though is you don't want to sit here without Uber like for too long, right? Because what teams will end up doing is like they're gonna push into you, and that's what your defense should kind of look like too. If you have like either good damage close or you have ad, obviously taking it into them is actually very good because the way this map's set up for like the whole people holding with ad, it's very easy to collapse on their medic in this position here, just because you can like bomb over China and then just land on them. And it's kind of like product, right? Like product, you can do the same thing where your sort of just bombs deep and then goes for the medic and shit with your spy, with your Uber. So same thing as this one. I think meeting teams with Uber in the forward hold's very good. Like if you want to like exchange closer, it's good too because the last thing you want to do is try to retake from back here, right? So you literally give up all the space and just like lose the point, and then they just walk in, and without using, they just take all that ground first, right? That's kind of lame. So on your hold, you'll want to try and exchange and meet them as they come in if possible, or if you need to back up for a second, do that, but don't like stagger and not exchange and then back up all the way. You want to eventually try to catch them halfway and then Uber into them. Um, Also, I haven't really talked about the left side, so let's do that real quick. I default to left side a lot, actually, more than right, because um, some snipers like tend to hold this angle here. I don't know if anyone like actually knows about this angle, but this angle is really really lame. For playing against this sniper can just like sit on this thing right here, and they can see over this, and they can see basically all of point. This is like a headshot angle for the sniper to see through, and they can see all of left side like this. So if your team's holding like this, like I said earlier, like holding that side of the point, which would be your right side hold, you can see that. So if the sniper is going to be called ever and he's there, cut that sight line and just try to cross to like this side, right? So cut the LOS of that and just like play like towards central, and that's fine. And then your medic can just play like right here, right? That's the kind of only time I'd want to play on the left, but that happens a lot, so I do play left a lot. Um, Another thing, right, is if their sniper's cliff and you're doing this, this is bad. So that's why we cut off that sideline and go here. So it's pretty straightforward. Your heavy during that hold, if you're playing on the left, by the way, you can have your heavy play on their rock, but like I think this is bad. Like you think it's similar to playing it on that rock in terms of this one, but it's actually not the same. Because you're heavy playing here instead of on that side. There's not a lot of people covering him except for like your demo and then anyone like playing on the point, like long range here. Because this is your tunnel. People compete in tunnel, but if you're playing on the right side, you'll have access to their tunnel and you'll have someone in there. So that's why it's a little bit better. Okay. So yeah, that's basically the four holds there. Demo kill again. This is like this trap works the best, by the way. Like this trap always gets me kills. So just putting it here. Because when you peek out, no one's really gonna be clearing this corner when they walk dry. So you get a lot of kills doing that. And this one here. This one's also very good, obviously, because the lights like stick. They can't really see it, right? So pretty good. All right, so that's majority of the holds. When you're holding point and you have ad and they're setting up behind point, like behind their house like this. By the way, a really really easy thing to do is just Ubering straight through main as well. So if you have advantage and their spies, your spies calling where they are, and you just want to go straight through with the scout demo through here, this can get you a lot of kills. Like it'll net you so many kills doing that. Just because it's easier to go from main than it is from going from like right, because right is pretty connected to the point, but this goes straight through house. Like you don't have to worry about the house at all. You just run straight through it. So if you ever want to Uber into them with ad, say like you're trying to take a lot of time off the point and like maybe I don't know, you're down a few people and you're scared they're gonna dry fight, taking Uber ad into them like that is worth doing, right? Just to get their medic and then time on the clock and then like securing like space on point afterwards. It's not bad. But you do need certain conditions to be met before you do something like that. So it'd be like your combo is your demo medic, and then you need a scout, you need like a soldier, and then you need a spy. So your soldier would go deep, and your spy would do cloak, and then your combo would just go straight through main and run at them and kill them behind house. That's pretty good. You can also do it on them if they go concrete side, by the way. So if their team's sitting right here, like I said, teams will try to dry fight here. Sometimes like teams when they dry fight, they kind of script it before they push. Scripting like they peek the door, they're gonna push like way too soon instead of like waiting for the players to set up first and then getting in position and then peeking. So if you know their combo sitting right here as well as your spy calling it, obviously fucking take the Uber into them with its ad. I think team sitting here is like a bait because if you sit here, like the kite is so hard for this map compared to like product. It's way too hard. So if you're sitting on concrete, it just doesn't really make sense to sit here without Uber if the team has ad on the other side. So yeah, you can just take your combo here, Uber right around this corner, and then just catch the medic, right? And then the medic will die, the demo will die, whatever players are there. And since snipers like to play on the right side here, sometimes just for rotate, you might actually catch the sniper too, which is really, really good if you can kill the sniper with it too. Even if your Uber just kills like the sniper and the medic, it's still a good Uber, right? So um obviously left the same Uber on left applies to right. Right's a little bit harder though, but like I said, you can still do it. Um okay, so that's mostly the holds. If you get backed out of the forward hold, by the way, and you have to play back here and you don't have Uber, like I said, trickling time is really, really good. And then you play around your sniper, it's really, really good. If you have a heavy who's set up in tunnel to fight this, you should always try to play with this guy. If your heavy is always trying to push point from this position, this is always worth it, especially if you're trying to retake too. Because if you can stand here, if your heavy can just get through here, it's really hard for any of them to deny the heavy here unless it's like a soldier spamming it or their snipers in their cave or tunnel, or like he gets headshot peeking this too wide. But the best part about this angle is you can literally just hug this wall and like not peek too wide and you'll never get headshot. So that's why this angle is pretty good. You don't want your heavy playing there the entire time though, obviously, for retakes. Um, because if he sits there and they never peek him, and then eventually the demo just spams him out, he'll be low and then he'll be out of the fight for the most of this. So if you need your heavy somewhere instantly, having him tunnel if he's not already set up there is not a good idea. If you need your heavy to fight with you like as you are walking in like pretty quick, then he might as well just play like the left side of point like this, right? Or the right side, depending on where you are. Sorry, I won't move tomorrow. Yeah, so if you have immediately just fighting this, then yeah, the left side is worth fighting if you're heavy on the right side. I think right side's bad for Putis, though, by the way. Like this one here. Like if you're retaking this angle is not that great, but this angle is really, really good for your heavy because you can like wide swing this and just like cut off people playing here, and you can also fight the people who are exiting lower. It's really good. Oh, and last thing is like heavy going through lower, by the way. I'm assuming like you guys were kind of like, what about the heavy lower? But yeah, it's insanely good to have your heavy just dry fight from here, right, and do this. Um, if you look at like the team with Jacob on it this season, they do that every single time. Their heavy would just go straight lower every single time for refights. Either refighting or when they're holding, their heavy would just go straight lower like this and just do this, right? And this is really hard to stop. Like you can't. It's really hard to stop that guy from getting through if it's uncalled. Like, if no one's literally watching this as he gets to here, he'll get kills and damage like 100%. So yeah, I'll explain to you how to like kind of watch for that player in a sec here. But yeah, that's your heavy has a really good role in this map where it's like he can repush with your team on point, he can go cave, or he can just go straight lower and do this, right? And I think the last option here is probably the best. Cave option is probably the second best. Uh,
Uh, I'm sorry
I
if you covered this already. Yeah, sorry, I got here a little
uh,
bit late.
you're good.
How much would you want? Do you like expect your heavy and soldier to be kind of like holding hands on this map?
Never really unless it's like the mid fight. Your soldier and heavy should have separate roles after mid. Because in the mid fight, I explained it earlier, where your heavy and soldier can kind of play cave together and eventually just drop out of window here or drop out of cave just to chaos mid, right? You know what I mean? Like chaos the mid.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
Um, Other than that, not really ever. I don't think it's worth having your soldier play with your heavy because your heavy's timings are way different than your soldiers. Because your heavy will look for openings with your combo where he can make space for them by having players look at him. But your soldier is either on your side of the map spy checking before a push, so he's like way split from your heavy, or he's bombing, right? So like he's not ever going to be standing still. He could be tunnel. He could start tunnel, I guess, right? But you don't want your heavy and your soldier in tunnel at the same time unless it's the mid. So does that answer your question?
Yeah, and what about under? You wouldn't like think about you wouldn't prioritize your soldier with your heavy under if you were like the Jacob team or whatever, spamming it.
um, you can totally do it. Like at soldier heavy playing lower. Like you are you saying you want to have them lower during like a defense so they don't go through lower on you guys, or you mean like you want to push them through lower?
Uh, I yeah, more like active rather than reactive.
um No, I'd really just have my like heavy doing this alone. If your soldier wants to rotate here and clear it first for your heavy, that's probably the only time he'll probably be with your heavy. It's just when he needs to clear like the space down here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if say like they have like a mini or like a pyre or heavy sitting down here, then you want to have your and you want to have your heavy through here. Maybe your heavy asks to clear it, then your soldier would help do that.
Okay.
Then that's fine. Yeah, I'll touch on that a little bit more. Because there are a few other things I need to talk on offense. For retaking and defense, I think I covered most things. If your team wants to kiting concrete's not too bad. Kiting cliff can be a little bit risky because kiting cliff is still a sightline, so just be careful with that. Snipers tend to like scale up on the point a little bit faster, so they might just try to set up like right here, and then this is a huge sightline for their sniper to sit in. So for me, my team tends to just kite towards the right side, but obviously it's based on the situation where you kite from. But it's good to have your medic kind of sit towards an exit anyways. So, so whatever like door your team ends up taking as an exit is just where your medic's closest door is. Like that's how I kind of do it because your medic has to like find the exit first. So whatever side of the point your medic's on, your pyro is probably going to be there. So your pyro just trails where your medic's going because this map is really harsh for spy. So spy checking is just going to be like pretty active for the most part. So wherever you leave, make sure your pyro is just basically hugging your combo. All the while, your engineer is probably going to be sitting in like main here, setting up a mini sentry on the floor here, and like spy checking house and like main here, and then hovering your sniper the entire time, right? So the only time my like engineer would not be on my sniper is when the spy's dead, right? Or our sniper literally is dead. Then he can't do that, so he just plays my combo, right? For retakes, yeah, just like he basically just sets up a mini and wrangles it in main, and then he just hovers my sniper. So if my sniper's playing above my engineer like that, I think it's worth just having your engineer run up to him and play bats with him. This you want to like make sure this sightline is open for your sniper. It's really hard for the combo to ever try to fight this one here. It's like really hard. There is this sightline here. It's like pixel. Like, it's the same as like product above Japan, right? Same thing. It's like a hard angle to cut off. So giving access to your sniper to play this entire retake is really good. All right. I might have glanced over a few things. Just like ask me to explain them if I didn't. So I'm just gonna go over pushing now. Pushing should be pretty much the same amount of length as the defense, so we'll just go fast. Um, the main thing is for retakes, it's the same as like any COD. You need to make sure you guys have like some sort of point on the map where you guys can regroup and get buffs first before you go. So usually I just say behind this house is fine. Depending on where you put your telly, also it doesn't really matter, but your telly will also be somewhere here. I've actually been experimenting with my team where to put the telly. Putting the telly here is actually not that bad. Right here, you push it up against this wall, and it's not spot. You can't spawn camp it, and it kind of connects your team to left, and it connects your team to main really fast. So this telly is pretty good. Don't push it here. That's spawn campable. It's also you can die to their Uber. That telly you can also die to Uber, but it's a little bit safer. Putting a telly in house here, it's really easy for a team to just after they win the fight kill this telly. They sweep through house and kill this telly. So if it's here, this is not that great. If it's here, a soldier can jump bats and kill it, and it's not that great. Also, spies can just sap it for free if they're in house, because a lot of times your engineer's not going to be in house. Like on the instance that you like are about to retake, he might like be getting a buff real quick, and the telly might already be dead. So resetting up this telly might take a little bit more time than this one. So yeah, which team that kind of groups up around house. You'll need to wait for your spy to call their sniper. Obviously, like anything else, if you try to push while their sniper's live and it's a dry push, and you're just blind as fuck, you'll probably just get fucked by their sniper. So everything should kind of be situated with their sniper being called first. If um if someone called it on the death cam, I'd still wait for sniper. It's not worth playing around a death cam call out unless it just happened because your team was going too quickly and he died to the sniper. If it just happened, then maybe you can start drying. So if their sniper's called like left point, then yeah, you could totally walk up the left of the cliff here. If their sniper's called on rock on right, then cliff is not an option. Also, this is a really good sideline. I should have brought up as well. Some teams try to dry fight through main. I think that door is very risky, just because like first of all, it can be trapped. and then sniper sideline is fucking ginormous. So yeah. Okay. Anyways, so for pushes, yeah, sniper callouts, wait for the spy to call it. I kind of wait for my sniper to be set up too. So when I start my pushes, I call my sniper to get in position and I ask him where he's peeking from, and then I peek with him. So if my sniper's peeking with him, if it's against their sniper, if he wants to take the sniper SVS, I'll peek with him. If he's peeking from like the forklift and he's not gonna peek the sniper because he's just waiting for someone on point to fight him or peek him, then that's fine. I'll just peek away from the sniper, right? It depends on where my sniper wants to go. So if my sniper's going bats, and we have a sniper call, I'll just play a peek with my sniper. But if my sniper's baiting us on forklift, then then we'll just find a way to get it instead, which is like off my supplies call. Um, Left is like a door. Like I said, people go through a lot. I tend to go through right nowadays on offense, just because you have access to main too. Main's quicker. So if you waddle towards the right side, you can go through main, or you can waddle off concrete. You just gotta be aware of stickies. So when I walk in, I always make sure I clear this one, I clear this one, and if I see sticks right there, I always call them. Right, like there are sticks in our house. Like they'll walk from cliff to house, and then that's a free stick call it, and then it dies. I don't think any demos have been doing this trap, but I've gotten like fucking 20 kills doing that. So if you guys want to try and abuse that, you can. Teams don't like think about it enough. So yeah. So once you get to like one of these positions, either left or right, if you're left, by the way, you have to get like to the behind the rock like as quick as possible. If you just sit right here and like play spam like with your demo, they can like get Uber into you, or they can just hard spam you, and it's not very worth it. Every door you peek from, you got to kind of get through it. It also makes it so if you get through those doors, their sniper doesn't just rotate and fight you at that doorway instead. So play very fast on your retakes. Retake should be quick based off of sniper positioning, and you go fast, and then you get the positioning in order to Uber pretty quickly after, or just to bait them to use. And we'll talk about like when they have ad in a second, but let's just talk about if it's even, right? So if both teams have, main thing you want to do is just take the Ubers out of the way. Is exchange. Normally, maybe on a map like product, you'd edge the cap first, but this map is fucking hard to do that. So I recommend just taking the exchange and ripping it first, especially if you're already doing damage. Then just walk into position to take the Uber and then take it, and then play the post Uber situation. Um, the idea of like milking your Ubers is not very like reliable, by the way. So whenever you're Ubering, just fucking take the Uber, and if they're Ubering into you, just take the exchange. It's very hard to like have a good milk work out for you without potentially losing players because in Highlander, like it's very volatile. So if you try to milk anything, you're in threat of getting headshot, backstabbed, right, or synced by like multiple players worth of damage, right? So milking is very very risky. But if you ever like feel like you don't have to use immediately and your demo wants to walk in and force them first, I guess you can try it. Especially if your demo doesn't call to use. I'm just letting you know if that's the case, then it's very fucking risky. So do it with caution and shit like that. All right. So for retake Ubers when you don't have point, there's a few ways that you want to Uber. One is lower. I don't like that Uber unless it's like retaking and we have ad. Going lower is fine. I guess it's not. I don't. It's not my first go to. I don't like it that much. Usually, if you go lower, it's not even going to be on your demo. It's going to be on like your scout pyro or some shit. So like, if you're going to go lower, that's the only time you'd want to do that. Is Ubering your scout and pyro. So if those two players really like Uber, then give it to them, I guess. But most of the time, I just Uber my demo. Oh, like that's me. I'm the demo. So yeah. And the other one, I would just take straight over point and go into them like this and just force them immediately, right? And then back up for retake and a repost fight, our Uber like post Uber fight. And during that, we need to be set up behind the Uber. So if there's a spy on our bats while we post Uber fight them, this is bad. We never swept this and cleared it. If our sniper gets backstabbed during that, that means someone's not in position with my sniper during the Uber or post Uber, which means they probably were running away from the Uber, which means they weren't in position, right? If my heavy is not healthy, he might have been peeking too early. If my soldier gets shot and like dies or almost gets killed, then he's jumping in or fucking peeking for no reason, right? It's very patient before like your post Uber fights. Everyone just kind of needs to wait. It's like product, right? So if you like play into the exchange from concrete, you'll just get shot up by their Uber. It's like the same concept on this map. Anyone that's playing behind this rock here, or peeking your cave, or peeking lower during exchanges, you'll probably get shot at or just get close to death or die, right? So everyone should be fucking out of the Uber. So in Ubers specifically on retakes, this is when I want my heavy to kind of go cave, right? For me, for instance, it might not be the best thing to put your heavy here on post Ubers, but this is what my team does, and it works fine. Just putting him here is good, and then he can peek with your team as they cap, so he can be an extra level of assistance when they cap. Or like someone had a question about earlier, you can just go lower in the post Uber, kind of like what Jacob's team does, which is very good. Or you can just have your heavy kind of waddle up this way on the post Uber and make that initial space for your whole team. Since this heavy peak, by the way, is so committal, you can't bait. So you need a sniper call, and you guys just kind of walk at them. Your demo, by the way, like the reason why this map's a bit better for demo than like Asheville or product is that you're not going to be the first one they're going to shoot. So you can blind spam as much as you want without even peeking their combo first. Like demo can literally just do something like this and then hit like the same amount of damage, right? It's if you just do something like this, right? So that's why demo is so strong on this map. Um, So yeah, if you're retaking your heavies lower, it's good to have like your scout and your pyro on point, and your engineer if the spy's dead. Your engineer can be on point when the spy's dead, so he can like shotgun things close, and then your pyro can just air blast things off the point, and your scout can actually get the frags behind the rock here, like that's clean. And then your soldier can either be walking one side or bombing or playing in your cave. Like all this is fine. I think for the question one of your teammates had about this, if your heavy wants to go straight lower, your soldier can play in your cave, and he can wait off the timing of your heavy, and then he can play here, and then eventually drop down. So something that like I've seen like a soldier and a heavy do that I've scrimmed against is that the heavy would go lower, and then the soldier would bomb out this window and land on them as they're getting shot at. That's like a huge commit, right? And that's like insanely good for a post Uber sitch. Is your heavy peaks lower, your soldier bombs over, lands somewhere behind their main here, in front of their main, and then your team walks straight. So it's like a pinch, right? It's like straight like that. That works. That could also work during like when you have point and they're walking forward. It's just more committal, and you don't have to commit that much resource to doing that, but it's viable if you want. Right. So yeah, exchanging can be either from central with your scout. You can do your scout demo, scout fucking pyro if you want, as long as they're good force. It really just all that matters. Still really like your heavy or something that's kind of lame and it's even. And then you need to make sure in post where you guys are watching their cave as well. So for me as a demo, I love just like shooting a few stickies deep into cave just to clear it, to see if anything's there. Also, if a spy calls for me, I'll just shoot it as they peek, and then that's like a really good spam angle. Just doing that. Um, for the most part, I mean, if you spy and your demo coordinate that much, that's like really good already. So it's good. Yeah, and then if you're ever gonna fight aggressive on point, a good way to do it is just kiting to this left side like this when you're retaking, and just kind of cutting off this spam from this way. Their demo, if he's sitting back here and spamming the point like this, that's kind of stupid, right? So most of the time he'll be spamming it like this. If that's the case, then you're playing it like kind of like this and edging it like that. You won't be eating a lot of spam, so that's good. What I've seen a lot of teams do when they're retaking point and they're trying to cap it is instead of just like standing still on the point ADing like this, they kind of walk and then strafe to the left or the right like this. So they kind of either walk into them with their strafe keys or they kind of walk backwards to the other side like this, just so they can avoid spam the entire time while capping. Because like it's so small, it's really hard to just like stand and sit on the point, right? It's not like product, it's not like Asheville. You can't just like hold it and like not be expected to take damage, right? So I've seen really good players like DT and like I think Flu did this, but also when I played it in the regulars like the seasons before that was being played on this map, like old Candy and like old you know um that was season one team. I saw them play this really well. Then you gotta like then yeah you just gotta be sure you're kiting spam really well on the point. And that's like kind of the biggest thing is just getting time on cap like that. Just keep edging the point over and over and over again. It might seem like useless to do that, but the time goes up still. Like, it's very good. So whatever time you find to get bodies on point to get cap time, that's like important. So all right. I think the last thing I was going to talk about is taking the fight on point with disad. And that is pretty stressful to deal with because again, it depends on how close they are on the point. If they're doing the forward hold, then it's very risky to peek. So the main thing you want to do is get a call on what side of the point they're on. So if their team's holding the left side like this, like I was telling you about, peeking from your concrete is pretty good. And from my own experience, I had trouble with this when I was learning the map. So this is kind of the workaround to that. If they're left and their sniper is watching you, you still want to try and deny them as they walk through. So obviously you're gonna spam into the entrance of left. Don't back up. If you're on the wrong side of them as you're forward holding, that does not mean you back up. Okay, that's the best tip for the hold, and I kind of explained that already. Just kind of meet them on the other side, rotating to it. If you're the offensive team and you're trying to retake and you're mirroring them in this way, it's not good to just set up behind rock and wait for their Uber. Okay, it's a really good idea to just kind of come in through the left side, make this initial space behind in front of main like here, and having someone look at this and just kind of wait for the spam fight here and then get good damage to force them. And then you have players who can commit like your heavy through lower or your soldier through cave or your spy or your sniper who gets a kill on their sniper, right? You're playing it slow to get the initial space and picks. So if your combo's playing in this situation here and they're playing forward, the players who need them to peak, like your sniper, will get that, and then he can look for more obvious kills trying to walk at you as a combo. So that's why it's good to do that. You're not just gonna sit on concrete here and wait for Uber. Like that's never gonna be the play. Don't ever do that. If it happens to be like that, it's because you guys are either too slow to call the push or you guys are just not aware. So the main way to be aware of that is just be to make it be known that if you're peaking with your team ahead, if you're peeking ahead of your teammates, that gives them more chance to peak too. So it's like your sniper that can peek and shit. And that's like the main thing is you're just playing on your sniper and like your pick classes and shit like that during these times. Either it's for your spy to go for the stab in their combo, or your sniper is looking for the kills in front of point. Um, if you go right here, and they're here, you're gonna get rid into like I said. So to summarize it, when you push out on a retake when you're at this side, you're gonna want to try and get a call of their combo and just try to go the opposite side. So if they're right, you go left. If they're close right, you go right. Yeah, if they're close right, you go left. If they're left, you go right. That's the main thing. And then you set up your sniper accordingly. And I told you like teams tend to just stray away from concrete. I said that with the idea that my team actually does concrete more. But what made my push it on concrete fucking impossible is when they would Uber into us, right? So that's what I'm saying to you guys now as a reference to remember. If you're gonna be dry fighting, don't keep dry fighting from the same side because teams will just learn to Uber into you if you do that. You gotta mix it up. So you gotta go between right and left like always. Right and left, and you gotta make sure it's called where they are first, and that's how you're deciding what side you go. And like I said, on any dry fight, make sure your meta has their exit towards your exits, medics towards an exit, so your medic can live. And then even if your demo dies, as long as you guys get Uber, it's chill. But if your team's getting Uber soon, if your demo dies, it's actually not that good. So just keep that in mind for your demo player. He should try to stay alive during this ad, or if it's close to Uber, he needs to be alive because at any moment it's so volatile when they are wanting to use. If you guys get Uber during that, it can be a one fight just like that because they aren't counting your Ubers, right? So it's good that your demo just stays alive during that. um, I think that's mostly it. So I kind of want to just go like roll by roll first, and then we'll be finished. So obviously your scout on this map is going to be playing very combo eccentric since there's no real flank. So just make sure you have your scout and your combo and ready to push with your demo. It'll really help you if your scout's playing with your demo on point because your scout's going to be the one kind of capping. So make sure you guys are playing together. So scout and demo kind of calming to each other a lot. Your soldier, it sounds like your soldier wants to play towards your heavy more. Does that mean your
Oh,
soldier also
no,
comms a
no.
lot?
I don't want. I mean, I
You-
have no preference. I'm just that's just what I've
Okay,
seen like traditionally on this map I have really
yeah.
no
Well, fuck you too, Davey. All
The
right.
ways I explain the map,
I want
hopefully
to do
that kind
what's
of
good.
showcases it. Like soldier and heavy do play together. It's just not like like they're not like one person in the pushes. They're kind of separate still. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got you. I'll play off of him
Yeah,
pushing
exactly.
through lower and things like that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Exile.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any like dedicated anti-sac that we should really know about, or is it kind of just like play back near shield?
No, there's definitely anti stacks you can do. It really depends though. It's gonna be call based. So if you guys want to call where you're putting your backs to and where you're exiting, that's good. I guess if you're asking for defaults, not really. Your concrete's decently like a good place to back up into, because if your team's playing behind point already, then you kite that way, or you might kite to lower. But the problem with that is you don't want to be in a situation to get sacked on like back here, right? So
Yeah,
if
isn't
you're
our
playing
goal to
forward on
not
point,
play anti-sack? We'd rather like
yeah,
use our ad rather than hide with it.
exactly, yeah. You don't
I
want to
feel
use
like
your ad
yeah.
like all the time though, because you can see why using your ad every single time would be a bad thing. The way you guys would play into them sacking is just playing on point and just denying them early as they walk in.
Yeah,
Have you
like
guys ever played
if
Proofs?
Arbiter gets like a
Oh,
freak headshot on the medic, like what should we like start looking at maybe?
just fortress up on point. You don't back up. Everyone should be in. Everyone should literally look forward and deny the doors. So for Swift, are you the demo player? You are, right? I
Heavy.
think.
Squid is
So
the
who's
demo.
the demo squad?
I'm
Oh,
the
Squid.
dinner.
So you're getting alias system somewhere. Okay, so if your team is getting sacked on after you guys are holding forward, okay, do not back up with your combo. Okay, the main thing you want to do is try to play forward still. So if you know their sniper is playing somewhere, obviously have your team focus like not peeking that. And if you're gonna be the demo trying to spam the doors away from their sniper, I would just start like pre-trapping like fucking everything in front. And it's kind of like Asheville forward hold or like Prute forward hold, where your team's gonna or not Asheville, ignore the Asheville thing. It's like Prute. If any of you have played Prute, you'll understand this. On Prute, your med's body will be on point during forward holds and sacks, no matter what. They're gonna be on the middle point. So as that is implied, and you know that the way you do that is like everyone just has to make sure you're constantly fighting these players peeking as they're getting ready to sack. Because if you deep spot every single person on their team as they're gonna sack, it's gonna make their sacks way harder. That's the idea. You give them notice that you have contacted them, and then their sack will be worse. And you can just shoot them as they do it, and it makes it even better. So hopefully that answers your question. Don't run away from sack. Just play forward. That's the idea. If your med dies, it's either their position might have been kind of bad, or you guys were having a hard time actually focusing the players sacking. That's the exercise you kind of have to go through. Is like, was our med out of position, or were we not good enough at denying them? Like that's kind of what you have to do. All right, so I talked about scout and soldier. I think pyro on this map is full spy check until you have to cap point. I think your pyro is really good at capping point on this map. So, if your pyro and your scout can play point together while your demo spams behind them, that's like the ideal like way you fight point together. Sometimes your pyro might want to walk forward and kill something though, so that's the potential. Obviously your pyro still shares the role of spy checking and like denying bombers, so it's just on your pyro to have good timing on those types of things. Spy checking for your medic should be like for retakes. When you're fighting point, it could just be like your scout, but that's up to you guys if you want to have an additional person on point. And obviously, you guys will know when you can just throw more players on point based on how many picks you got, so it's fine. I don't have to explain the role of your demo. You already know that. You're heavy, like I said. You're kind of just looking for openings to make space for your team. So you're going through a cave or lower or point. It's fine. Either one works. Your NG is, I think, full time just going to be setting up minis around your combo and then playing around your sniper. When the spy is dead, you can just play point. It's worth noting that even if the spy is dead, soldiers can go deep for your sniper. And I think it's on your sniper to actually be in a different position than getting bombed. So I know this because my sniper kind of does this where they kind of put themselves in a bad spot to help us as a team like deny the soldiers or deny the spam on them. So if you can have your team like if your team's sniper, it's Arbiter, right? If Arbiter can like somehow make it easier for you guys to like help them, then or help him, it's good. If he puts himself on like a really shit spot behind you guys while he's getting bombed, like what can you do, right? That's like there's nothing you can do about that. Sometimes it's good to have your sniper play towards combo if it means like he'll stay alive. And he can just find kills close to you guys. That's fine. Medics rolls, whatever. Sniper's role. I basically just explained the sniper's role. Your sniper's role should also be on holds, like playing very forward. Don't have him play on bats while you're forward holding. It's bad. And then your spy is just kind of like calling where they are. Your spy has a very pivotal role in this map, by the way. So make sure they know like how multifaceted their role is. They have to call their combo. They have to call sniper. They got to call what side of the point the combo's on. You got to call Ubers. They can help spot lower, stuff like that. Oh, by the way, if you guys have ever issues with like watching lower, I designated my engineer to full time look at this sometimes. Or if there's downtime, my pyro like sweeps it. like looks down here and checks. So you guys can do that. That's good. People might think it's easy to check lower because you can like literally see them as they walk through lower, but it's actually quite difficult still. Just because if you gotta peek them, you gotta peek wide, and then that's not how you're fighting point ever. So it's good to have your teammates always looking at lower on downtime. It takes like literally 2 seconds to sweep it. So if you do that, that's like that could really change how you guys play the point. So I think that's everything I know about this map for the most part. Not a lot of deviance in how the map's played over other coughs other than what I said. So
Okay.
if you do have questions at all, I can like, go over a bunch of shit right now if you have questions. Cause I left gaps probably in my review.
I do, but it might be related to the fact that I was late.
Just ask it anyways.
Yeah. So, like, tomorrow when you're scrimming this map, you're playing as demo on the point, like, you own the point, you're playing up to, like, deny the doorways
Mm-hmm.
and shit.
Yep.
Like, where are you expecting your heavy and soldier to be relative to you? Like, on
Okay.
Saturday?
Yeah, I review that. So depending on what side of the point you're forward holding is going to be like where your heavy's going to be standing. So if your team's playing right, which is I actually love playing right, right's very very strong for the forward hold, just because you're only really ignoring one sight line, and it's this one. Or you're ignoring all that, but you have to be aware of this. But yeah, my heavy will be like right here, right here.
Oh, yeah. I've seen Tuka do
Yep,
that.
here. Yep, here. The way we play it though, my team is it was kind of weak, so we learned better how to deal with this. And heavy here is still really good. Um, what we need to make this hold good if you're playing heavy is your team actually peeking this doorway like this. Okay, this is good. Your team needs to literally make sure they can't walk up, because if they walk up, they'll shoot you. But if they're back here, they will shoot you. So just be aware of that. If you're the first person they spot here, they're gonna shoot you. So delay your jump up till it be right here. This is fine. Okay, delay it. Don't like immediately jump up toward the rock and assume it's gonna be good, because it's not gonna be good. You need timing with it. Does that make sense? Okay, I'm assuming that makes sense. So your soldier, you want to have your soldier kind of playing in cave, like up here on your holds, if possible, either on their cave or sitting on their bats, right? If you have the space to, this is the best hold for soldier right here, right? But if he sees their team walking up, he can spam them and then just start backing up this way, right? And you can hold the entrance to their cave, and this is chill too, right? So if your soldier can't play here any longer, you just jump out the window and he's safe. But most of the time, you should try to drag uh, kind of anchor here if possible, and then peek that whatever. And I also said this one, the other one's here. If they go left, he can spam over. You can jump over if you guys are taking Uber into them, right? You can go through house and pinch them like this. It's even better. So yeah, those are the two kind of spots you want to be. Lower doesn't make sense here. Um, what you can do, by the way, is if they go left or main instantly, your soldier could literally just go behind from this angle too, right? He can
Right.
fight something on their cliff. He can kill their sniper from here. That's chill. Um, yeah, that's that. Anyone else have anything for me before I leave? Nothing. Okay.
Mm.
Nothing. You have a question?
Exile. Um,
Yeah.
I don't. I think I wanted more clarification. I don't really know how frequent to go like under or cave. Should I be doing that like either one, like more than half the plays, or like should I just be saving them for like more surprise? I guess.
Oh, okay. So that comes down to timing, and it's kind of based on where you're already situated. You're not gonna play lower every single time if they're calling it every single time, right? So here's the kind of flow. Here's kind of the flow of how you should do kind of lower end tunnel peaks. Okay. So if you're retaking, and say you guys are doing some sort of dry fight, and maybe they have ad, you can go lower, right? If you're if you're peaking and you're retaking, and it's even, then you can go cave, right? But if you want, even if it's even, and you want to go lower, you just wait for the post Uber, and then you peak lower, right? Does that timing make sense? All those three things?
Yeah.
Hopefully that makes sense to you. Yeah. And if you don't want to go lower because they literally have people in lower permanently, then you can just play like anywhere on point. For me, from what I noticed, it's good for your heavy to try to contest this right here. So if your heavy can walk up like this and take this angle, this is fine too. And this could be from cave, but if you're not in position from cave, there's no point in you taking the extra 10 seconds or 5 seconds to rotate up the cave and then do it when your team's already fighting on point. You can just drop down and do this. right? And this is fine. I mean, you play heavy and you know this. Like this angle is pretty good for you. You can kind of assume how it would work. Like as soon as like your team's fighting and they have to they're forced to fight you. You can easily just kite to this fence and do this angle like that.
Yeah.
So it's good for you to kind of rotate between those things.
Okay.
So in your scrims, you just want to try all that stuff. If you want to do some sort of fast sack with your team, though, say like you rolled out with your team and you're just wanting to push without Uber, your guys are just pushing, then you could straight up just come with your combo and do either lower or just come to the right side. Okay, like this is fine. This is also fine. You don't have to like walk towards left and then do that because this could get you cut to a sniper, and this could also be trapped. They could be spamming this. They could be there. Their heavy and demo could be there, right there, right. So if you want, if you guys are just rolling out like this and you don't want to go lower, then you can just go over to the right side pathing and just fight from here, and then cut that line of sight there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's also fun. So yeah, I kind of just showed you like all the ideas I had for heavy. I don't really have much else other than that. So
Okay.
yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, no, you're good. Okay, I'm assuming that's it. So I'm gonna take my leave now. I gotta actually review for my own team, so I'm gonna leave.
Oh,
You guys
good.
message
Thanks,
me
bro.
questions and stuff.
Good
Yeah, no
review.
worries. All right, thanks guys. Thanks for listening.